She chose a wild weekend in Miami over her marriage. Here's what happened. Melissa and David had been married for 6 years. On the surface, they seemed like the perfect suburban couple, a nice house, stable jobs, and a routine that many would envy. But underneath the polished exterior, cracks were forming. Melissa was restless, feeling trapped in the monotony of PDA meetings, meal prep, and her predictable 9-to-5 job. David, on the other hand, thrived on stability and predictability, believing that their routine was the glue holding their life together. So when Melissa's college best friend, Erica, called her out of the blue with an offer to join her for a girls' weekend in Miami, Melissa hesitated for only a moment before saying yes. David wasn't thrilled. A wild weekend with Erica? You know how that goes, Mel, he said, his tone heavy with concern. It's just a weekend, David. I need this, she replied, brushing off his protests. The moment Melissa's plane touched down in Miami, she felt like she had stepped into another world. The vibrant city buzzed with energy. Erica greeted her at the airport, practically bouncing with excitement. Girl, you're about to have the time of your life. Their hotel was luxurious, their suite overlooking the ocean. That first night, they hit South Beach, dancing until 4 a.m., laughing like carefree college girls again. Melissa felt alive in a way she hadn't in years, the responsibilities of her marriage and life back home fading into the background. Saturday night was when things escalated. Erica had made friends with a group of wealthy businessmen who invited them onto their private yacht for a party. Melissa hesitated at first, but Erica convinced her. Come on, Mel. It's just a party. Live a little. The yacht was everything Melissa had dreamed of, luxurious, extravagant, and intoxicating. As the night wore on, she found herself drinking more than she usually would. One of the businessmen, a charming guy named Ryan, paid her a lot of attention. You deserve to be spoiled, he whispered to her as they stood on the deck, looking out at the moonlit ocean. Melissa felt a pang of guilt, but brushed it aside. It's harmless, she told herself. Back home, David was pacing the living room. He hadn't heard from Melissa all day, and his calls were going straight to voicemail. Anxiety gnawed at him as he scrolled through social media, looking for any sign of what she was up to. When he finally got a hold of her late that night, she sounded distant. Hey, babe. Sorry, my phone died, she said casually, though her voice slurred slightly. Are you okay? You sound off, David pressed. I'm fine, David. Can we not do this right now? I'm trying to have a good time. David's stomach sank. Something about the way she dismissed him felt like a slap in the face. On Sunday morning, Melissa woke up with a pounding headache and a growing sense of guilt. She couldn't ignore the texts and missed calls from David anymore. She read through them, her heart sinking with every word. Asterisk, I hope you're okay. Asterisk. Asterisk, Melissa, I'm worried. Asterisk. Asterisk, what's going on with us? Asterisk. She thought about the choices she'd made over the weekend. The late nights, the flirting, the reckless abandon. Was this really worth risking her marriage? When she called David, he was curt. Did you have fun? He asked, his voice devoid of emotion. David, I'm sorry. I just needed a break, she began, but he cut her off. A break from what? From me? From us? Melissa didn't know how to answer. When Melissa returned home Sunday night, the atmosphere was icy. David barely looked at her as she walked through the door. We need to talk, he said. They sat across from each other at the kitchen table, the weight of their unspoken feelings hanging in the air. Do you even want to be here anymore? David asked finally. Tears welled up in Melissa's eyes. I don't know, she admitted. David nodded, his face hardening. That's all I needed to hear. In the weeks that followed, Melissa and David decided to separate. The Miami trip had been the final straw in a marriage that was already unraveling. Melissa moved in with Erica temporarily, trying to figure out her next steps. David, meanwhile, threw himself into work and began seeing a therapist to process everything. For a while, they didn't speak at all. Months later, Melissa sat alone in a cafe, scrolling through old photos on her phone. She stumbled upon a picture of her and David from their honeymoon, both of them smiling, full of hope for the future. She felt a deep pang of regret. The Miami weekend had been everything she thought she wanted at the time, but now she realized it had come at a cost she wasn't ready to pay. Melissa eventually reached out to David, asking if they could talk. They met at a park, their conversation raw and honest. While they didn't reconcile, they parted on better terms, both acknowledging their mistakes and the ways they had drifted apart. In the end, Melissa learned that chasing freedom at the expense of her commitments wasn't the answer. But sometimes, it takes losing something precious to truly understand its value.